Thank you very much, Joe. I wish you wouldn't have said that about pronunciation. Also, I should have asked Laura Kugler to write my grace. I forgot my most important line that I was going to pray for. I was going to pray for Mark and for Father Brian. As a small way of recognizing Father Bill Irwin's extraordinary ministry in meeting the needs of the poor and disadvantaged in the local, national, international communities, Catholic Social Services created the Monsignor Bill Irwin Award of Excellence. This prestigious award is granted to an organization or an outstanding community who has demonstrated the highest standards of excellence in the human services field. Past recipients include Archbishop Emeritus Joseph McNeil, celebrating his 90th birthday, Chief Justice Alan Mokwich, who was late, and the Honorable Douglas Roach, who's also with us today. I am pleased that Father Brian Giordana agreed to accept the 2014 Monsignor Bill Irwin Award of Excellence. Father Brian is being honored for his outstanding academic contributions to the study of persons with developmental disabilities and for his exceptional service to Catholic Social Services and to the community. As you all know, Father Brian is a member of the Oblates of Mary Immaculate religious community. He was ordained in Rome in December of 1964, and with his brother Oblates enjoyed exclusive audiences with Pope Paul VI and St. John Paul II. Born in Sri Lanka, Father Brian is an exceptionally gifted man, possessing a master's degree in philosophy, a master's degree of theology from the Pontifical University of St. Thomas in Rome, a master's degree in educational psychology from the University of Alberta, and is a registered psychologist in Alberta. Father Brian also is an internationally published expert in the area of intelligence measurements for developmentally disabled adults. Through invitation, Father Brian has shared his vast knowledge and therapeutic counseling experience at international disability conferences throughout the world, including the cities of Helsinki, Brisbane, Montpellier, and Dublin. Having ministered with Catholic Social Services for 38 years, Father Brian assumed a variety of frontline and managerial roles, including as an esteemed psychologist and family counselor therapist for family service, children and youth service, and for disability service. He was also the agency's first volunteer coordinator and religious education coordinator. Since 2010, Brian has generously served as the agency's chaplain. Despite his important professional responsibilities at Catholic Social Services, Father Brian also made time to serve as an associate pastor at St. Albert Parish for 18 years, and as pastor of the Native Pastoral Council for 3. A world traveler with 23 countries under his belt, Father Brian is completely fluent in 7 languages. I think I'll repeat that one again. Completely fluent in 7 languages. I have a hard time with one. During his long career, Father Brian has also taught at different colleges, seminaries, and universities in Canada and Asia. A published poet and writer, Father Brian is an intellectual who is restless in his search for knowledge and truth. And yet, at heart, he is a man of God who always puts the needs of others above his own. And I might add a transcript here. He also recorded a CD of some songs with a niece, I think, was it? Yes. Father Brian is a wise and compassionate person who truly embodies humble and selfless service to others. He has ministered to countless clients and staff, including their family members, in times of crisis, at their deathbeds, and at their marriage celebrations. He has a gift of serene and loving presence that affectionately binds him to those he serves, especially to persons with developmental disabilities. As the prophet Micah stated, one of my favorite biblical quotes, "A saintly person is one who loves tenderly, acts justly, and walks humbly with his God." And certainly in every facet of Father Brian's life and every mark of affection he has shown to both the powerful and to the weak, Father Brian has exemplified that calling. As many of you probably know, Father Brian is not with us today. Diagnosed with cancer 3 years ago, he is now in palliative care. We personally presented this award to Father Brian in April and publicly recognized him today as we hold him deeply and dearly in our hearts. We know that he is with us in spirit. We're also very honored today to have with us today several of Father Brian's personal friends, some of his relatives, sitting at this table here. So we welcome them. Also, two of his fellow oblates, Father Joe Boucher, my French isn't very good, Joe, and Father Mark Loom. And to accept the award on Father Brian's behalf, please join me in welcoming Father Mark.
Thank you, Father Mike, and it's an honor to receive this award on behalf of Father Brian and in the presence of his niece, Angie, and Sun Li, and Chenille. I saw Father Brian on Monday at the hospital, and Kathy was feeding him a chocolate, just one tiny little piece at a time. And so he is quite low now, but in a way he's close to his goal. Brian worked at Catholic Social Services for 38 years. And in counseling services, he created a healing shrine there. And if you recall in John's Gospel, Jesus meets a man at a healing shrine who had been there for 38 years. And that shrine was a little bit of a problem for the inhabitants of Jerusalem because it was a pagan shrine to the Greek god Asclepius, the god of healing. And later, the Romans enlarged the walls of the holy city, and that offended the locals because they didn't think a pagan shrine should be in the holy city. It was a problem for the first Christians also because why was Jesus healing somebody at a pagan shrine? Jesus, you're not supposed to do that. So St. John gave the shrine a Hebrew name, and none of us really knew the difference. And so in his ministry as a spiritual healer, Father Brian integrated the science of healing through psychology. And so every time he wrote a new book or read or learned another language, Father Brian extended the walls or the enclosure of his healing ministry. And so in combining the science of healing and the spirit of healing, Father Brian helped many to arise and to experience that compassion of a God who wants us all to be free and to be whole. And so on his behalf and in the name of the Oblates, I thank you for nominating him for this award, and I invite you to keep him in your prayers because he is very close right now, and he has been a very faithful servant through Catholic Social Services. Thank you.
Thank you for your words, Father Mark, Father Mike. Again, someone like Father Brian, just is such a humbling experience to hear of them take him our wishes and wish for peace. As with Father Mike McCaffrey, if I were getting $5 today for every time I introduced Stephen Caratini, I'd be up $15 again. This is kind of like bring your own collection plate at church day. Now, with CSS's Twitter account having been operating for over an hour, I'm pretty sure that we're close to knocking off Lady Gaga as having the most followers. However, I'm going to ask you not yet to wear the raw meat suit, Stephen. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome again for his further remarks the President and CEO of Catholic Social Services, Mr. Stephen Caratini.